guys, Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our week 11 team builder for the League of Extraordinary Trainers. This week we are taking on Coach Tbuck and the Burning RIver Charizards. The start of something that could potentially go really wrong. We have some really tough matchups in our last 5 weeks here. We're currently sitting at 7-3 after our victory over CM last week, I think. We have to play Loco next week, and he's really good in the red division. And then I think he's in the red. I really hope he's in the red division. We still have to play TJ, who's in first place in the entire league in week 15. Who else do we have going on here? We still have to play Multi-Cow, who's got a really threatening green team. And we still have to play Mudsdale, who has beaten me in the past, and he's also got a really threatening team. So that's sort of the gist of things. I'm hoping to pick up a win here. A win here would guarantee that I finish the league. Sorry, I finished the first season with at least a positive win record. I'm not sure how close we are to clinching the playoffs yet. It is the top 2 from each division, and I don't remember how many games I have on WoWer. I think I have 2 games over WoWer right now. Two wins over WoWer right now, plus the tiebreaker that I beat him in our head-to-head. So that's sort of a thing going on there. Yeah, so let's talk about Tbuck's team real quick here. He has Garchomp, Rotom-Wash, Heatran, Fortress, Whimsicott, which is a Z user, Venusaur, also a Z user, Cofagrigus, Slurpuff, Liepard, Mega Charizard Y, and Seismitoad. A few things stand out here. Obviously, he's got a Sun team with the Venusaur Megazord Y combo. That helps out the Seismitoad a little bit as well. I don't know. It helps with the Heatran a little bit, doing more damage. It doesn't really help with the Seismitoad or the Rotom-Wash very much. Whimsicott can run Chlorophyll, I believe, so Whimsicott is also a Sun user. Slurpuff sort of there is something, kind of a sweeper. Garchomp's a sweeper on the team. Priority-wise, he has no priority outside of Whimsicott with Prankster and Liepard with Prankster, so he does have 2 Prankster users, but besides that, there's no notable priority whatsoever on his entire team. Hazards-wise, he's got quite a few hazards, a lot of it's Stealth Rocks. Garchomp has Stealth Rocks, Heatran has Stealth Rocks, Fortress has Stealth Rocks, Spikes, and Toxic Spikes, Cofagrigus gets Toxic Spikes, and Seismitoad gets Stealth Rocks. I'm expecting him to bring a Toxic Spike user. I think that would just be prudent. Luckily for us, I'm bringing 3 things that are immune to Toxic Spikes, so that's kind of fun. Besides that, hazard removal wise, he's very poor hazard removal for Mega Charizard Y. I think that's part of the reason why he's not doing so hot this year. This season. I think he's sitting at 5-5 right now. Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason. His really only reliable hazard removal is in Fortress with Rapid Spin, and I don't think that's good enough. Besides that, he has Megazord with Defog, and unfortunately Mega Charizard's the one that's taking the most damage from Stealth Rocks on his team, taking 50%. So we're going to prioritize doing that in our match. He also has quite a few 4x weaknesses, which I think is kind of poor prep as well. Garchomp has a 4x weakness to Ice, Heatran to Ground, Fortress to Fire, Mega Charizard to Rock, and Seismitoad to Grass. I think the biggest one there is Fortress to 4x weakness to Fire, especially in a Sun team. I think that's not the best. Obviously, 4x weaknesses can be patched up, but I don't see a ton of good switch-ins to an Ice type attack on his team. Maybe like Rotom-Wash and Heatran are okay. To a Rock type attack, he really doesn't have a good switch-in pretty much whatsoever. To a Grass type attack, again, same sort of story. And to a Ground type attack, he's got a Levitator and a Flying type, and that's pretty much it. So, the moral of the story is, we're going to try and abuse that. In regards to things that I'm expecting versus not expecting, the only 2 things I'm not expecting are the Slurpuff and the Liepard. I think they're both pretty horrible against my team. I think Liepard's just a horrible Pokemon in general. And I don't think Slurpuff does well against things like Nidoking that can just one-shot it. Especially with some of the priority I'm rocking on my team with Mamoswine. I don't think it's very good. I think Slurpuff fails pretty hard against Bagarna. It doesn't really get the best physical coverage to take it on. Something like a special Slurpuff could be an issue, and I don't really have anything prepped for that except this Rotom-Heat, which we'll talk about right now. This Rotom-Heat is not specifically prepped for anything except for the Charizard Y. This is my best switch into either a Solar Beam or a Flamethrower for the Mega Charizard, and we're obviously going to do a lot back with an Electric type attack. I do think he's going to bring one of his 2 ground types, so we can't really Volt Switch out of there, but we can get a Pain Split off or something like that. Running leftovers with Volt Switch, Pain Split, Discharge, and Overheat. I actually am not running Thunderbolt. I wanted to spread a little bit of paralysis around on his team, because I think it'd be better for me to paralyze a few of the things, like Charizard Y, like the Whimsicott, if that's a switch in, potentially. I don't think it would be, considering I could rock Overheat. Potentially Venusaur, again, same issue. But it'd be nice to paralyze some of these things. And Overheat's obviously there to abuse Forretress's 4 times weakness. It's also good against the Whimsicott and the Venusaur. I just realized Heatran's kind of a decent switch into his Fire 4 times weakness, so maybe I spoke a little bit too soon about that. But Flash Fire Heatran's obviously a good switch in. We're running max special defense, calm, max HP with 1 point in speed to outspeed potentially 0 speed Rotom Wash, which he could bring. If he's bringing defensive Rotom Wash, then he would probably be 0 speed. So we'll always be able to get the momentum off on Rotom Wash if we're in on it 1v1 with my Rotom-Heat. Yeah, because I don't want to really take. I still don't want to really take a Hydro Pump with this thing. Next up is Logan, our Mamoswine, running Life Orb with Oblivious. I'm actually running Oblivious because he has 2 Prankster Tauntauns on his team, and I think that it's probably better because, okay, so the thing is that even with Thick Fat, I'm not living a fire attack from Charizard, so in my mind, it's better for me to run Oblivious and not get infatuated or taunted, so that I can get my Stealth Rocks up guaranteed, because like I said, his removal options are not very good. On top of that, we're running the standard Mamoswine moves, Earthquake, Icicle Crash, and Ice Shard. Just do a ton of damage to his team. This thing 1v1s the Heatran fairly well, unless he's running speed up the Heatran. And obviously it takes on a lot of the other things fairly decently. It's not Mega Venusaur, and it's not Thick Fat Whimsicott, so my Ice Step attacks are going to do a lot to those. Garchomp, we can Ice Shard that thing and kill it. So yeah, there's lots of good options with Mamoswine this week. Max HP, Max Attack, Adamant. I'm not running any speed this week because we don't need it. That's pretty much the gist. The things that I would outspeed with Mamoswine don't run speed anyways. So in my mind, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. To run speed on Mamoswine, it just doesn't matter. So that's Mamoswine. Next up is Selgor Kakashi. Life Orb with Sticky Hold. We're running a more offensive Selgor this week. I'm actually running 2 Life Orb attackers. That's not necessarily what I want to see, actually. I'm just going to change this real quick. There we go. Running Bugidium Z Sticky Hold, which makes no sense. So we'll run Hydration, I guess. Selgor with Bug Buzz, Giga Drain, HP Fire, and Spikes. I might change this to Grassium Z for the Giga Drain in case it OHKOs the Seismitoad a little bit better. Otherwise, Bugidium Z should do a little bit more damage to a lot of things on his team. Giga Drain's there for the Seismitoad and some recovery and the Rotom Wash. And then HP Fire is there for the Fortress. Running Spikes just to get up a few more hazards because, like I said, his hazard removing options are not very good, and most of his team is grounded, so it would take some Spikes damage. I have no reason to not think that Mega Charizard Y is coming this week. There's no reason to not think it. I pretty much have nothing to stop it in the first place, so it's a good bring, and he's going to bring it. We're running enough speed on a Selgor to outspeed... Nope. Running enough speed to outspeed Whimsicott, which is actually modest, which is kind of cool. So we're going to hit really, really hard with 166 special attack, and I popped a ton to HP to make it odd, and then 1 point to special defense. That point probably won't matter, but it might later. Yeah, so this is Selgor set's kind of a more offensive Selgor set, more of a wall-breaking Selgor set. People always underestimate a Selgor, and so I continue to prove that a Selgor is going to be good. That's sort of the idea. Next up's Magarena. Magarena's got a really solid matchup this week. I think Magearna can actually do quite a bit of work with the set that it's running right now. There's not a ton that I can't touch on his team unless he's running, I don't know, Assault Vest Seismitoad, for example. I can't really touch. That's pretty much it. But once a bunch of the stuff on his team is weakened, Magearna pretty much cleans up. I have a couple good options to shift gear. Something like Fortress is a really good thing for me to shift gear on for free. Something like Coffagrigus could be an... well, no, I'm not physical, so Coffagrigus can't take away my Soul Heart, luckily, and so I can keep getting boosts. Liepard potentially is a free shift gear, unless he's running Thunder Wave, which he could be. Or Taunt, again. Prankster Taunt. Something like the Rotom Wash is potentially shift gear fodder. So, there's a couple of shift gear fodders on his team, or... Excuse me, Slurpuff is another shift gear fodder. And then once I get shift gear up, I'm just ready to go. Running enough speed... Oh, sorry, I didn't talk about the moves. Ice Beam hits a lot of the stuff on his team. Obviously, it's my best way to hit Garchomp. It hits the Whimsicott really well, it hits the Venusaur really well. Ice Coverage just does fairly well against this team. Thunderbolt is there for the Rotom Wash, is there for the Mega Charizard. It's good neutral damage against things that will resist Ice Beam. And then Flash Cannon is there mostly for the Slurpuff. But Flash Cannon is going to be my best move to hit something like a Liepard. It's going to be my best move to hit something like a Coffagrigus as well. So that's sort of what that's there for. It's just good stab. Sorry, we're running enough speed so that at +2 we are outspeeding Scarfed Garchomp. With this spread, we will outspeed max speed Scarfed Garchomp once we're at +2. Max special attack, and I pop the rest in HP. Iapapa Berry is there in case we can't one-shot something and it brings us low enough to pop the Iapapa Berry, then we have a lot of HP to work with. I could just put him in a panic, to be completely honest. He doesn't have any priority that I should worry about, so that's maybe not the biggest thing in the world, but it could pop from even like a Leech Seed from Whimsicott or something, right? Like a Prankster Leech Seed from Whimsicott or a Leech Seed from Venusaur or something gets me low enough to pop my Iapapa Berry, and all of a sudden I'm ready to go with more attacks. So that's kind of cool. Next up's Air Canada Megalodios. We're running a physically offensive Dragon Dance setup one with Earthquake, Dragon Claw, and Substitute. I'd like to get a Substitute up and then get a free Dragon Dance off, and then sort of starts to sweep through his team. The only thing this set cannot touch is the Whimsicott. We literally cannot touch them. Like it eats an Earthquake. Dragon Claw it's immune to, so I have to worry about the Whimsicott being low enough to either die to an Earthquake or just not be in the game anymore for Megalodios to start setting up. We're running enough speed to outpace the Liepard. That's sort of just the tier that I wanted to hit. Max attack and a bunch of HP, which maybe should actually be in something else actually. Let's pop that into special defense. There we go. Yeah, so that's Megalodios, and last but not least, we're bringing a really nifty Manaphy. We're bringing Choice Scarf Manaphy with U-Turn, Surf, Energy Ball, and Ice Beam. U-Turn's obviously not going to do that much with a modest nature, but it's just good momentum, especially since we're Scarfed. We can like bluff coming in on something. I don't know. Excuse me. Surf is really good stab. Energy Ball is there for the Seismitoad in case he's Water Absorb. And Ice Beam hits a lot of his team for good damage, like I said earlier. So that's Manaphy. We've got enough speed on here to outrun the Rotom Wash. Modest max speed, Manaphy actually outspeeds max speed Rotom Wash, which is kind of cool. So we're a modest Scarf Manaphy. We're not outpacing things like Garchomp anyways that are Scarfed, but we will outspeed things like the Mega Charizard Y, so that's kind of cool. Anyways, that's the team this week. I'm hoping that we can pick up a win. I think I have the team to do it. And yeah, looking forward to it. So yeah, that's our team builder for our match against Tbuck and the Burning River Charizards in Week 11 of the League of Extraordinary Trainers. And I will see you guys for the match.